Siguro I'll ask muna our ambassador, no? Well, ambassador, again, I'm JP Soriano from GMA News. And thank you for this moment, no, thank you for this interview. The firstly, sir, how are you? Kamusta po kayo?
Okay naman kami. Okay ako dito. I've been here in China for so many years, so I'm used to life here. I have many friends, and I'm familiar with the landscape here. And China being China, it's changing so fast. So if there's something new, if you look for it. So in short, I'm very good. Thank you.
Yeah, when you mentioned na it's changing too fast, too quickly, so ibig sabihin as diplomats kailangan nating sumabay, no? Kailangan nating sabayan yung mga pagbabagong 'yan, no, para alam natin kung ano yung nangyayari kasi mahalaga 'yan sa relations natin, no, sir, no?
Tama po. Kailangan tayong sumabay sa pagbabago at kailangan alerto tayo sa mga nangyayari sa ating paligid, bilang bansa, sa ating paligid, at bilang kapitbahay. Kailangan nating masusing maintindihan ang China at ang nangyayari dito sa kabuuan at saka sa mga iba-ibang aspeto ng buhay dito.
Speaking of pagbabago, can you identify some of the biggest changes Beijing had in the last 2 years that we are trying to cope up and adapt, and that will be beneficial to our country soon?
Marami ng pagbabago dito sa China. Hindi na po ito yung China na nasa isip ng karamihang Pilipino na mahirap, madumi, magulo. Kung pupunta po kayo dito, makikita nyo sa mga lugar, hindi lang sa Beijing o Shanghai na malalaking syudad. Pumunta kayo sa iba pang lugar dito, makikita nyo ang malaking pagbabago ng buhay dito ng mga tao at saka technology. Ang isa pong malaking pagbabago dito yung innovation na nakikita namin dito. Across the board, green technology, agricultural production, space technology, at sa daan, on everyday basis po, punta kayo dito, makikita nyo ang magagandang infrastructure na nagawa na nila, subway, cars, at yun, ang everyday ng buhay ng tao ay umaangat, at dahil dito, nagkakaroon na ng disposable income ang maraming, lalo na yung middle class dito. At doon pumapasok na yung abilidad ng China na bumili at makipag-trade, yung mutual trade, papasok na dito yung ating bilateral trade. Dahil may disposable income ng mga tao, pumapasok na rin ang turismo. Ang mga Chinese po ay lumalabas na very curious, very interested to visit other countries and find out the other cultures. So sa mga larangan po ito, yun ang gusto naming bigyan ng diin at pansin, yung ating bilateral trade at saka yung ating turismo and other people-to-people exchanges.
President Marcos is our foreign policy. Siya nagde-design ng foreign policy natin. He recently spoke of, seeking a new equilibrium with China. From your perspective, Ambassador, what does that mean in practical terms for the Philippines-China relations?
We are seeking a new equilibrium, so to allow us to, first stand firm on our principal positions on issues where we differ with China, especially territorial issues on South China Sea. So malinaw po yun. We stand firmly on our position. But at the same time, when we speak of new equilibrium, we also want to be able to manage our differences while we pursue engagements on other aspects and other areas. And that includes tourism, cultural and educational exchanges, bilateral trade, commerce, and connectivity, green technology, modern farming. Marami pong aspeto na pwede nating i-pursue again while standing firm on our principal position. Ang sabi po ng Pangulo din, yung ating pagkakaiba or hidwaan sa maritime issues is not the sum total of our relations. Gusto po nating palawagin naman habang pinag-uusapan natin yung ating pagkakaiba, gusto rin natin palawagin ang ating relasyon sa iba-ibang larangan. Kasi it's a big opportunity for us to create jobs, bring revenues, help our entrepreneurs to tap into the China market. Again, ang sabi po ng Pangulo ay we want to have a stable relations with China. We want to have, magsasabi po natin na new equilibrium. We want to create space for diplomacy and dialogue. While, again, ang premise, we stand by our principal position. Ang sabi nga ng Pangulo, what is ours is ours. We will not give up whatever belongs to us. We will not give up a square inch of our territory.
Yeah, thank you, Ambassador. And that space is very crucial, very important. One of the things that the Secretary of Foreign Affairs also raised during that meeting, it was also announced by the BFA that nabanggit din niya yung tungkol dun sa na ikinalungkot ng marami, yung AI-generated video depicting Filipinos. Personally, Ambassador, what was your reaction, and how do incidents like this affect yung situation natin, lalo na kayo, nandyan po kayo sa Beijing?
We were hurt by that videotape. It's unfortunate, but also it's unacceptable. Ito po, that breaches the basic principles of journalism, which is truth, fairness, and ethics. So, yun po, hindi dapat nating payagan. Hindi po dapat nilang payagan, lalo na yung racist videotapes na gano'n. So, kami po dito sa Beijing, we echoed Manila's protest. We issued an open letter to China Daily demanding that they take it down because it is hurtful, it is racist, and it breaches journalistic norms.
Did you get any response or formal reply from them when the embassy wrote them?
Meron po kaming response, hindi in a formal way, pero sa mga official dito, sinabi po nila sa amin na hindi nila pinapayagan yun, hindi officially sanctioned yung ganong ginawa, at I think sumasang-ayon sila na hindi nga tama yun.
Isa sa mga napaka-crucial din na aspeto is yung energy security. And I understand yung huling BCM na talakay ito. Meron po ba kayong na-observe na any renewed interest from the Chinese side in resuming discussions on joint oil and gas exploration in the West Philippine Sea? Or does that remain off the table for now?
I think meron pong earlier discussions, unofficial discussions along that line. Pero sa pagkakalam ko po, parang hindi po umaandar yung usapang ganon. Pero bukas po ang pinto dito nila sa ganong ideya, sa ganong possibility. Pero siguro kailangan po pong ituloy yung initial discussion on a working level para maitulak pa yun.
China recently announced military drills near Scarborough Shoal. From your perspective in Beijing, what message do you think China is trying to send? And has the Philippine Embassy sought any clarification from the Chinese authorities?
We haven't specifically talked about that specific incident, but I believe that we remain far apart on issues like territorial or sovereign rights in contested islands. And again, kaya po natin gusto magkaroon ng new equilibrium is to resort to diplomacy and dialogue. Iwasang magkaroon ng misunderstanding, miscalculation. Yun po ang ating guiding principle sa mga ganyang usapan. Pero again, ang premise po ay ang atin ay atin.
China issued implementing rules for its nature reserve in the Scarborough Shoal. And sa perspective nyo again, Ambassador, not to belabor the point, how significant is this development? And will you seek any clarification from your counterparts po?
I think we have addressed this issue. Of course, we oppose unilateral actions like that. And I think that's where we stand. That's where our department's position is.
May I ask our trade counselor, Sir Glenn, despite these tensions na natanong ko kay Ambassador, and na-emphasize naman natin that China remains one of Philippines' biggest trading partners. Which Philippine exports have the strongest growth potential in the Chinese market over the next 2 or 3 years? And how is the embassy helping Filipino exporters seize these opportunities?
Behind all of this noise, there is actually napakalakas na bilateral trade natin with China. Pag titingnan natin yung trade natin with China both ways, exports at imports, kasama na yung nasa dumadaan sa Hong Kong. Kasi yung Hong Kong, we look at the data, about 70% of what goes to Hong Kong ultimately goes to the mainland. If you count this, number one trading partner natin in China, number one export market, and number one source of imports. Growing by double digits. Dahil big market sila, alam natin. At saka yung requirements natin ng industries natin, intermediate goods, raw materials, marami din tayo ini-import sa kanila. Dito sa anong sectors, meron tayong big three. Ang pinakamalaki yung electronics. Kasi kasama tayo doon sa hindi lang regional but global value chain. Now, electronics continues to grow dahil AI, ang daming requirements for electronics. Even automotive ngayon, automotive electronics is one of the fastest. And then of course, yung sa digital economy, tuloy na tuloy pa rin yung adoption of improvement of infrastructure. So kasama tayo doon. Ang ginagawa namin, we assist companies who are doing business in electronics. We know that kailangan natin dagdagan yung value added ng ating exports. So, yung mga component manufacturers, yung iba sa kanila pumapasok na sa Pilipinas, sinutulungan din namin. So, both on the enterprise level at saka sa industry association level, active tayo. Yung ating SAFE, the largest organization, they have close relationship with the industry associations here. Ang approach kasi, JP, is that para makapag-export tayo, kailangan natin ng dagdag na capacity to produce more so that we can export more. Now, so the continued growth of electronics will depend on new investments coming in new technologies, and China as a leading player, kailangan natin na. Yung pangalawa, yung minerals. Ito yung ngayon yung tinatawag natin ng green minerals. Next to Indonesia, tayo ang pinakamalaking source ng nickel. Dahil yung policy natin, hindi tayo nag-export ban, tayo ngayon ang major supplier of nickel to China. We are talking to the big companies and encouraging them, telling them that we also want them to do processing in the Philippines. Ongoing yung usapan with some big companies, kasi lahat, as you know, everyone is looking for minerals. So people are securing that supply. So we're working on that. And we also work with related industries na nangangailangan nito. The third one, at saka ito, I think we spend a lot of time dahil ang impact nito ay napakalaki, is yung interest of China to import more tropical food and seafood products.
I'm curious dun sa nickel. Yung nickel ba, they don't produce much of it? How much do they need it?
Ang nickel, dati, ito ang raw material for stainless steel. So, ang daming steel products na kailangan ng nickel. But the biggest and most important demand now is that many of the power batteries na kailangan mo sa electric vehicle, no, kailangan ng nickel doon. We also have copper and cobalt na lahat yon becomes part of the power batteries. Kaya tawag nandun ngayon na critical minerals na ngayon. Kasi very basic at saka important siyang material for power batteries.
Tama ba? Do we have more, mas marami tayong ganon kaysa sa China? Mas marami tayong ganong klaseng minerals?
We are, I think, maybe we have the second largest reserves. But in terms of trade with China, tayo yung number one dahil we don't impose an export ban. Yung Indonesia, the next biggest producer, nag-export ban sila.
Kahit po meron sila, hindi enough po whatever they have here to feed into the huge market. And it's still a growing market. So marami pong mga kailangan sila na kahit meron silang kaunti, ay kailangan nilang mag-import. Dagdag ko lang, JP, no? Moving forward, meron kami nilulutong project na mag-partner yung isang company dito na nagtuturo, nagte-train ng mga technicians or engineers na nag-specialize sa mga EV. Kasi isipin mo, bibili tayo ng EV vehicle, sino ang pag nasira o kailangang i-maintain, wala tayong masyadong technicians na familiar na sa mga EV. Meron kaming ni Glenn nakita na malaking parang vocational school na ready na nagte-train na sila ng mga technicians. So gusto nating dalhin yon, mag-partner sila sa mga Filipino institutions para mapalago natin yung pag-train. So creating jobs for Filipinos, new jobs.
Sa tourism naman, ako witness ako before pandemic, napakaraming arrivals no from mainland China. But you know, Chinese outbound tourism is still recovering. Pero yung arrivals nga remain below pre-pandemic levels. Ano po yung mga biggest obstacles today, and what is the embassy doing to encourage more Chinese tourists to choose the Philippines? Siyempre, you have to take into considerations yung mga developments pa rin sa current events, no? Having said that, ano ang ginagawa ninyo po to improve?
So as of now, what we are doing, if we're going to talk about the hindrance, is we still have the safety and security concern. Yung mga situation before with the POGO, which are being addressed right now, because even the Philippine government, is helping with the Chinese embassy to be able to get rid of this illegal institution or illegal practice in Manila. So it's helped us also create this kind of positive image here in the market. And I think the most important one, if we talk of what's currently happening in the market, very popular here now is mga online media. You know about Douyin, TikTok, WeChat. Those are the popular social media. And the KOLs or the key influencers, they really influence, especially when talking about travel. So we're engaging on that area because we want to build a Philippine image in the market. So just recently, at the start of the year, we have around 3 or 5 medias, KOLs. So this is the Philippines, they go to Cebu, they go to Bohol, they go to Boracay. And we want to bring the good news to the market. That's one of our activity. And then recently we have the KOL online activity here. We have 30 KOLs within one month complete promotion of the Philippines, and we have around 27 million views for that engagement that we are doing.
Pagandahin yung connectivity,
Yes, accessibility.
Accessibility na tinatawag. Meaning, yung more flights to the Philippines, at saka buksan pa yung airport here. Kasi dalawa lang ang international airports na open to Chinese tourists there. Manila and Cebu. So ang gusto natin, dagdagan pa sana.
That's yung another segment that we see that they will have a what do you call this? They will having some setback. Kasi po yung ating accessibility ngayon compared to 2019 is only 59%. We're talking with airlines, Chinese carriers and also Philippine carriers if they can be able to bring back yung mga direct flight from destination. And then we also are talking to charter agents, you know, these people who rented the plane and then they can bring the tourists to the Philippines directly.
Saang part ng Pilipinas yung parang tumataas yung interest nila na hindi bukod sa Boracay and yung mga traditional pasyalan?
Actually now, Visayas is still popular. I think Dumaguete is very popular now because of the whale shark that we've been entering also para dun sa whale shark. And at the same time, yung, they have a very good diving experience there. And then Dumaguete, they also have the culture, the old churches. So Dumaguete is getting popular. And then just close to Dumaguete, you have Siquijor already. So those two destinations and for sure Siargao is getting popular now because surfing.
Sir, I want to ask, have you heard if President Xi Jinping will attend the ASEAN Leaders Summit in November?
We have yet to hear from the Chinese side who will represent China for the November summit. And I would say typically or based on the previous experience, it's usually the Chinese Prime Minister or Premier who attends ASEAN. They kind of take turns. President Xi attends APEC, and then the Premier attends ASEAN. But we haven't heard officially, so we will follow up. But at the moment, we still don't know.
Thank you, Ambassador. Salamat po. Ingat po kayo parati. And salamat sa lahat ng ginagawa ninyo. Mabuhay po kayo.
Salamat din, JP. Salamat sa GMA.
Thank